And if we want this war to stop, everything we do in every our action, we need to have this thought of connection. Здравейте, много ми е приятно, че ме поканихте, ни поканихте за интервю.
You had the unique chance to meet Dalai Lama.
What can we do now with our kids so that they will grow without this anger in their hearts, so that they understand and that we are humans here and we are going through a huge lesson, not only Ukraine and Russia, the whole world with us now.
So you felt also this experience, this love.
Yeah, there's a lot of love. Yeah, generous and people very.
For one side is the fear.
Yeah, and the one side is love. Yeah.
You cannot be angry for a long time, and you understand that one day the peace will come.
Hi Natasha and Sasha, we're so happy to have you here, and I just want to say what this interview is about. It's not about politics, but we are curious about your story, because we think that your story is the story of many other people who are trying to deal with what's going on right now. And in this interview, we are more interested in the inner peace as a way to reach outer peace. So maybe we can start.
Thank
Здравейте.
Здравейте.
Здравейте. Здравейте, Natasha and Sasha. I'm so happy that you are here. I'm not so happy because of the reason that you are here, but we are friends for many years. And it was very interesting for me how you decide to leave Ukraine, and what's the break point?
Okay. First of all, здравейте. Много ми е приятно, че ме поканихте, ни поканихте за интервю. And I think this is important to share real human stories, and our stories is one of the many. And I think we have now millions of stories, many millions of stories. Every family has a story now to tell, and we are happy to share and spread our feelings and our thoughts, and hopefully it can be our investment in the peace in the whole world.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Irina and Peter, for inviting us. I think it is very important to share with the experience we already faced and our feelings and emotions, and in order to understand what is behind these political decisions and maybe some ideology. So I think our conversation will be around these topics and how to think, how to reflect on the situation, what had happened, and how to prevent such a situation in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much also, and that's why we're so curious to trace a deeper conversation about what is going on, because there are lots of conversation, but every family, every human being is asking himself, what does it mean for me, how I can contribute maybe to peace and all that stuff, and that would be very interesting to explore in this conversation.
I want to start with the story. I came back from the United States, where I was on a business trip just a week before the war started, and we had just our ordinary life. Our friends from all over the world, from Israel, from the United States, they started to call us on everyday basis. Let's say starting, a week before, and they were saying, please leave the country, we know that it's going to be very difficult, and you have 4 kids. But honestly, I mean, being inside, yes, we felt the pressure, but you know, when you are in your everyday life, on Wednesday, I have a very, very busy day. I was in our school, I had meetings with the teachers, we discussed how we will implement a new program in English language for our kids. We discussed, I had a telephone call with the parents, and we discussed the success of one boy in an English language. So, I mean, ordinary life with everything you have, you know, and on Thursday we woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning when we heard this boom, and that was a bomb, and the first words that we said was, it started, you know, it started.
That's the moment you experienced it for the first time.
I think that the most frightening thing that happened to me in my life, because it's a night time, your kids, they sleep peacefully, and you hear this just noise and explosions, and they are repeating. In half an hour we had 5 explosions, and what you do, and Sasha, we were together just nearby and touching, hugging each other, and we opened Facebook, and on the Facebook you see all this, because first you don't want to believe. You said, oh, you know, sometimes you have explosions, you don't know what they are, and just you open Facebook, and all your friends, they say, it started. In all the cities, Kharkiv, Odessa, it started, guys, it started, guys, it started. And I'm saying, and I have my goose skin, that's, I think, these are the moments, and these are the minutes then that you realize that this is the end, or maybe this is the beginning, but definitely it's a new life. And
but it's the end of the old life as you knew it.
Yeah, that's
immediately realized that something terrible already happened, and what will be the next, nobody knows. And there's like mixture of panic and anxious, and you cannot breathe, you do not know what to do, and there were some thoughts about whether we need to collect all stuff right now and move. And then you think that you're not the only one, and there'll be traffic jams, and then the car can stuck, and then we decided to stay. And even I started the day as a normal life, and I had Zoom meetings with the colleagues. We decided the day that we will not go to work, as Natasha said, that you kind of your brain thinks the old way, like there is another
tries to process
and but again you have this inertia, and then we had a meeting, and I realized that doesn't work. You cannot think about anything else. And then I started to call to friends, to 1-2 friends, and I realized that my full tank is empty, even if I decided to go somewhere. And I already knew that there is a queues to the gas station, and to the bank, to the cash machine, to the department store. So, and that was like very terrible situation.
I couldn't cry for maybe 4 or 5 days. You know, when you have this freeze inside, and it's 3 reactions. You know, like run, freeze, or fight, and then we choose run. And when you run again, you need to be very concentrated, and
mobilized.
Yeah, and I think the decision to leave, we made it quite late. I mean, first, you know, even after the first explosions, you think, your mind helps you to think that it will not repeat, that maybe they will stop it. I mean, writing the articles, you see no victims so far, and you say, okay, maybe this will stop. Why should we run away? 4 kids, full house, a dog, a dog that doesn't have an international passport or whatever, and you think, okay, let's wait, maybe it will change. And then in the afternoon, when Sasha got the fuel, he managed to find, it was 6 o'clock in the afternoon, we made the decision to go, and we have 1 hour and a half to pack, and at around 8 o'clock we left.
In the moment of decision, what clicked? What happened with the new that you felt that that's your way?
There's numerous information, different information from different sources, and as soon as you realize that it is happening nearby, because one of the first aircraft was Ukrainian actually aircraft was shot like 10-15 kilometers from us.
In the near village.
Like in a few villages from us.
A huge aircraft fell
down, and I realized that it can happen somewhere here where my kids play, and we do not have a basement in our house. So it's like literally kids play next to windows, and when I look at that, they even wanted to play outside the football, and I started to call them back because you never know what to expect. And then yes, I realized that I need the fuel. We've got the fuel. Natasha's parents, they live in Moldova, in Chisinau, so it's like a safe place to move the family. So and I decided to go.
Yeah, it's interesting that you have 4 kids. We also have 4 kids with my wife, and almost the same ages. I'm always thinking about that how they experience the war and what they feel with their mind, body and heart.
Especially in these first moments, how they process that.
That was also I was watching, and of course, I mean, we all understand that we're experiencing now a trauma. It's a collective trauma. It's a trauma for our family, for our kids, for the whole country of Ukraine. But the kids, at the same time, when you look at kids, they're full of life. And you cannot stop life, you know. I think it's the same when you tell kids that somebody is died, you know. Maybe, I mean, they will process it later, you understand? And then when even we tell to the kids...
How old are the kids? Let's say, because 1 year?
15, yeah, 1 year and a half, 7 year, 11-year daughter, and the oldest son is 15-year-old.
So you have baby and you have teenage, and maybe they experience differently.
Because they woke up at different times, we talk to everyone separately. But of course, they've heard all these conversations before. I mean, when our friends started to call us, so they were in this information field. So it was not something like
no, it wasn't new for them.
Yeah, it was not new. But of course, the next question the kids ask, what are we going to do? And because they've heard that our friends, they called us to leave earlier, they said, why didn't we do it when our friends...
Maybe we need to go, maybe let's go. Yeah. So they push us as well, yeah.
And now how they feel, because you travel from Moldova to Romania, now in Bulgaria.
You know, I think they're in a big stress, but again, as a kids, they cannot reflect on what is happening with them inside.
They look at us.
What we see, I mean, their behavior is different. One is, I mean, most of them are very much tired, and this is the same way we feel, you know. I mean, for a couple of hours, I feel full of energy, but suddenly, like in one click, I'm just exhausted. I'm exhausted physically, emotionally, and of course, thank you for hosting us. And here we feel like at home, and the kids are busy with your kids, and it brings us joy. You know that we are not in the sorrow all the time, but yeah, the life is happening, and the life is going on. And of course, I mean, in such a case, I think that after the first explosions, the most frightening things were 3 full days in a car, non-stop.
You were 3 full days in a car.
Yeah, it was 3 full days in a car at night time, and
so there were a lot of adrenaline, you know, and then
you don't know where they're going to attack.
You have an energy then.
Our friends, they were just behind us, half an hour behind us, and the bridge just was broken just in front of them. Can you imagine again? And the huge traffic, because the bridge was ruined, destroyed, and they spent like 7 hours just to get out of this place. Or we were staying to cross a big, what is it called? Water station, electric station, hydroelectric station, which is considered to be a strategic object, and we need to cross this river Damba, and we were in the queue for 7 hours. 7 hours when you just stay.
And it's uncertainty because you don't know whether it will be bombed or not bombed. Or
And
it's uncertainty.
Only one car.
And they started to check the documents, and you read all this news, and the kids, you know, it's interesting how they, of course, they look how you treat all this news. For example, the middle one, who is 7 years old, he said, if I just only could, I would go to Russia and would tell all these people that Putin is lying to them. If I only had this chance, you know, I want to tell that we are suffering here, and it's interesting.
And what I understand for children is very important, your state and how you behave, because they are looking at you. And from another side, it's very difficult because you need to hold this uncertainty. And when you succeeded and you came to the border, was it easy?
No, the border was the last stressful moment, but because when we reached the border, the border we chose for some reason, that was the very small border, and there were no queue at all. But we reached it like at 2 o'clock at night time, and because of the what is it called, the hour when commandant hour, the special hour when you cannot be on the street. What is it called? When they introduce
like a curfew.
Yeah, it's like forbidden to be in the public places. And,
in the wartime, they do this hour when you are not allowed to be outside, you don't allow to have lights in your houses. So we reach the border. It's a complete darkness, complete darkness. People with guns, and they say, please turn off your lights in the car and wait. And this is, you know, night. And you understand that you can be attacked anytime, and in a car. And then, because the border is very small, they didn't want us to allow to go through, because I mean, they didn't want to allow Sasha to go through. And we said, look, we have a law. We don't ask you to do something wrong. This is a law. Just look, open internet. And they said, we don't know. We understand this law differently. We understand that this man should be on his own with the kids, so it means that you should be divorced. We said, no way. You need to please call other borders to find out. And they said, why did you come to us? So they didn't want to take the responsibility to let us through. And they said, go to another border. And we said, we cannot go to another border. Look at us. We've been like 60 hours on the road with the kids. We are tired. We're here with you. Please allow us to go through.
As a whole family, you mean?
Yeah. And they said, no. And we waited outside of the border. And they said, don't wait here because the police will come to get you, because it's not allowed to be on the street. And I don't know, all our friends, all our family were praying in Moldova, everywhere. They knew that we are at the border. And I went to talk to this woman again and said, look, I mean, we don't ask something wrong. Just you're a woman and I'm a woman. I have 4 kids now. They're hungry, they're tired, they're stressed, they're frightened, scared. Please let us go. I don't know what happened inside. I said, okay, go. And that was amazing. Yeah, I think that's only because we were not arguing to her, we were not shouting, you know, again, it's just human to human. Yeah,
and it was allowed for the father also to go when there are more than 3 children by the law.
By the law, yeah. And after that, all our friends who followed our way, they went through this border and without any problem. So we said, okay, we are happy that we were the first who opened the doors. Yeah, and because you know that there were huge queues on other borders, and people, for example, our father, he stayed for 70 hours at the borders, more than 3 days at the Polish border. And this is another thing when you are separated with the family. And this is our next challenge to get together. I mean, when you make a decision, and at this time of stress, you know, everyone made their own decision. And now our father is in Poland, our brother, he's in Germany, and so we are all like in different parts of the world. And I still, you know, what my thoughts were that all that was happening is like in the books that we read in our childhood about the Second World War, you know, the feelings that I had, that was exactly that I remember from the books that we read at school, how it started, how people felt. I remember all the stories about my family that was separated during the World War II, and I thought, we are lucky, we have internet, and we can be connected, we feel connection, you know. You have 1,000 calls during the day asking where you are, what you do, what is your plan, can I help you.
You started to focus the attention on what is working, because our grandfathers and grandmothers, maybe they were in a more difficult situation, what they see.
Yeah, I would like to add here that on the other hand, the people started to help other people as well, and where to go, just inform, we were met from friends of friends, just similar situation as here, and with Ivan, we just were hosted with the family. We just, as we've seen it in the stuff on the tables, on the sofas, they just literally stood up and just moved. And
they gave us the apartment.
They gave us apartment in Kameniec-Podilsky, in downtown area. Just here's your apartment. You can stay here just for a night, because we turned from Moldova, then to Kameniec-Podilsky, and then we go from another side. So. And then we just called them a few times already in order to help other people to be in this area. There was a problems with the fuel. They just allowed just to full just only 20 liters in one car, and then we were happy to find a place where they just gave us 50 liters in our car. So there's another story that you just run out of resources, and including like gas, money, I don't know, water, and everything. And then there was a huge queues over there. So of course the people in panic, and of course they all nervous and anxious, but the level of help was incredible.
And this is like a, you know, second part of another part of the medal, of the coin. One, this is a horror, fear, pain, but the other part is miracles, you know, beautiful things. Beautiful things are happening, and you can't believe, you know, and this is such a lesson for our kids. Every time we met people that helped us, just help them without anything. They said, my God, so kind people, so kind people. That was Sophia was repeating all the time. Such kind people, how they can be so kind, you know. And at the borders, these volunteers that give water, toys, sweets to the kids, and again, you can't believe this is happening. This war unites people, you know. And I think this is the moment when we feel so much interconnected, that everything you do, or you, I mean, if you connect someone, then it just, you know.
So you felt also this experience, this love
Yeah, there's a lot of love. Yeah, generous and people very,
For one side is the fear.
Yeah, and then one is love. Yeah, it's like white and black going together. And when you see and concentrate, and I wrote in my group to the school, I said, let's collect these stories, let's remember them, let's publish a book then with all these stories that happened to you, beautiful stories, beautiful, beautiful stories. And your heart, you know, at the same time, my biggest fear is, or maybe my biggest concern, what we can do now, not to allow the hate fill our hearts, you know, because, you know, especially on the third days of the war, you see your friends, which are very grown-ups and mature people, and their posts are full with hate. But maybe this is a healthy,
I would like to add here, because I have a little bit different.
Yeah, but okay, I'll continue. So but again, anger and healthy anger is okay, but how we as a nation or as people, as a family, what can we do not to keep it? I mean, how we can see, how can we see a bigger picture? What can we do now with our kids so that they will grow without this anger in their hearts, so that they understand and that we are humans here, and we are going through a huge lesson, not only Ukraine and Russia, the whole world with us now, just going through this lesson.
It's interesting for me because you share your feminine energy, but sometimes with masculine energy is a little different. It's not so easy to relax and to say, okay, let's see.
What's your perspective?
We want to protect the family. Yes. What is the masculine perspective?
This is a good point that there is a masculine and feminine energy in this world, and I think war is definitely this masculine thing, and I think the feminist part will go after a little bit further, like in the nearest, I hope nearest future. We already invented like something to substitute these kind of wars things, like with the sport, with the Olympic Games and so on. So we kind of found a way as human beings how to channel this energy, you know, somewhere where you have rules and you have to do something. But in case if one country for many years just pump this negative energy inside, so they definitely faced in Ukraine with similar energy in order to stop. I mean, this is, and the lesson here, we just discussed this yesterday, the lesson here that there is a healthy anger, which you can convert somewhere. And our kids, if we're saying about the kids and reflection, we need to learn them how to convert the aggression into something like positive or something, or just to know that I'm angry right now.
So not to suppress it,
not to suppress
to
it,
acknowledge it, and then out of that to see how you can channel it.
Otherwise, kind of, I think there is not only war for territories. It's definitely not for territories. It's not even war for ideologies. It was like communist and capitalist. It's war about like about the values and the principles. This war is not about muscles and weapons and all this. It's war about the senses and what we feel and how we see the future of this world.
And the values.
And the values. Yeah, exactly. I just missed this word. Definitely. Yeah. And in this case, you need to understand that when we prepared as a country, as an army, we informed that military forces of Russia that there'll be hell for you. That won't be like easy walk here, because we will not invited you. We didn't invite you, so you will be met with weapons. And then I think this aggression is relatively fair. I mean, in this case. Yeah. In order to stop, because before, like prevention, there was a numerous negotiation, this and that, but no. So saying about anger, yes, anger exists, and we have to admit it and think how we can convert it and transfer it somewhere else. Now I think, and it's very short-term energy, I would say. Anger, you can pump it, of course, with the propaganda and so on, but it's short-term, I think. Long-term, you think how to introduce and involve the feminine energy, and in order to create and build and reconstruct everything and build a new future. So now with the bombing and everything is destroying.
Sometimes it's very easy to destroy something. It's not a problem to destroy something, but
it is not.
The question is what we'll put on this place, what we'll create on this place that you destroyed. So
for me, it's a still continuation of collapsing of Soviet Empire. I mean, even buildings, I think some of them are new and so on. And even buildings, it's a symbol. I mean, this war is about symbols as well. You know, symbols and meanings, new senses. So, and you see how the world support Ukraine and how it's became a TikTok and Instagrammable, yeah, or how it looks even, and it's even in fashion right now. So social media plays a huge role in this regard. And here you have this, yes, destroy the old buildings, this old-fashioned way of making wars. So I mean, there's like two different worlds, and the problem is actually how to connect, because we live in this world all together.
And the bigger message is how to connect, and again, because what we'll leave as an example to our children, because I know that can you say a little bit more about your work, because you're very related to, you have, I think, a school, and there were lots of children in you. You had lots of advanced teachings in your schools, and at the same time now all the schools stopped, yeah? So what's happening with your work?
You work for the future with education of children, and now what was the...
You know, that interesting thing that the brain works like the way about something about the past and a little bit about the present. And only like 2 days ago we started to think about what's the next step, what is the future is, because we are in contact with our colleagues, and some of them left the Kiev, some of them stay under bombing in the shelters and in the basements. So we cannot speak about work with them, because they just text and then say, "Oh, we have to run to the shelter. We haven't had a bombing." So it is impossible to talk about.
So you just connect as humans and keep this connection?
We're not, it's not possible to talk about the future right now, and even, you know, when we're out of the country, and you know, the far you go, it becomes a bit easier, you know, because you see the life and that everything continues, and you start to have your routine, and it makes the life easier. But at the same time, when we talk about the higher level, how to look at the war from a different perspective, from not only egocentric, but from the world, from the universe perspective, when and so we are able now to talk on this level. But if you just turn around and think about people that are staying right now in Ukraine, that they just were cut off the world, because some cities, for example, our good friend is near Kiev in the basement with 2 kids, with no electricity, with no connections. We cannot get in touch with them because their phones are off, with some food and nothing else, and only bombs and tanks are around. How can you talk to them, or how you can allow your mind to think even from a different perspective? You know, you just go down to that level, and where the anger and where the fear and where the hate is. And of course, I mean, it will take time to many of us to go higher and to see it from many other perspectives, what it means. And even I'll tell you for myself that There is a big movement in education which is called humane pedagogy, and I am in a huge group of very spiritual people that care about education and education from a different perspective, and who all their life they develop themselves, they invest in their personal development, and most of these people are from Russia and ex-Soviet countries. And when the first days it happened, of course, all Ukrainian members of the group started to make posts and photos and videos. And the people, I mean, who are mediators of the group said, this group is not for politics. And the fight, the fight happened.
That only just add some oil.
No, the fight happened in the group, and I had also a big pain because I wanted them to acknowledge that there is a war, you know, because all these enlightened people, they trying to escape. I mean, they didn't want to. Maybe from their level again they said, okay, let's pray, let's do something. But at that time, during the first, I hated them as well, you know. I didn't want their praise. I said, why are you praying? Go outside, talk about Ukraine, support us, just acknowledge that there is a war. This is a real war. We are suffering, and when you are at this level and somebody is telling you, let's pray or let's do a collective meditation, you don't want any meditations. You understand. So this is that's I'm trying to say that, of course, when we meet each other, different state of our mind, and it's sometimes it's very difficult even to understand each other, what you need at this current moment. And
does this mean that the meditation doesn't help? Or,
no, of course help, but you don't want at that point. I didn't want such a help from them.
You need a different
because this is a
help.
group where you usually in your ordinary life you get a lot of resources, which very inspiring. These people, when you meet them, I mean, we grow together spiritually, but at the moment when you need help at a different level, you want them to acknowledge that something bad, catastrophe, human catastrophe is happening, and they say, let's meditate. No, it's not because you don't want to meditate. Yeah.
I think, yes, here meditation requires some silence and calm inside and so on, but you are in the mode when you need to do something. Yeah, like when you cannot even think about relaxing. You know, even your brain focus only on actions. And
I can see that it's more like you need more like a samurai spirit. You are in the war, but it can be, we can call it maybe meditation in action, but not just this relaxed meditation and all that. But you need this samurai spirit where you need some peace inside because you know, in order to be adequate. Because what will happen if you just are scared? It's nothing. You need this samurai spirit, but then you need action.
Yeah, and I would like to add here that there are some different layers of this of the same issue. Like let's take a long-term perspective. For Ukraine, I mean, it's all nations are united. The support of president is huge. You know, there is a bigger things happening right now, just here and now, about the whole future of the nation. I mean, long-term perspective, with the help of the rest of the world, of human attention to this will be okay. I mean, now there is a need, I mean, to react like immediately and to some extent. That is why this aggression can be helpful and healthy. When the people react right now, when we need not meditation from them and words support, just some actions as well. I mean, because actions just save lives, and actions just give some you know, opportunities for peace, for faster peace.
Yeah. Action is the meditation now.
And I would say that love, it's not only words. Love is also action. And
love is action.
And if we used to say to each other, oh, we love each other, so where is the love? Sometimes love is the action.
What actually calmed us a little bit down, the meditation from one of our teachers of meditation. He just was outside of Ukraine and just started, let's calm down a little bit. We need clear focus. And we meditated for 10 minutes and it was guided meditation from his side, like this already happened, so you need to have a clear mind, so focus on important things and this and that, and that was really helpful.
So it's interesting how you see this interconnection between inner peace in action and outer peace.
I'll give you some examples. You know, now with the kids, of course these are difficult times that we are going through, but still there is a lot of irritation inside of us, a lot of concerns and worries. And now when we start to fight with the kids, or the kids they fight between themselves, what we are trying to tell them, that now we all need to think about the connecting energy. So when we fight, when we are not happy with each other, that's everything that disconnects us. And if we want this war to stop, everything we do in every hour action, we need to have this thought of connection, of connecting to each other.
Thought and action,
thought and action, yeah.
You said something very interesting about the families. In order to transform the energy of war, the key question is how we can transform if there is energy war in our families, with our kids, we as a parents, and how we can transform it into a more peaceful energy. And then from that place also support whether Ukraine or people or friends.
I think it is very important to reflect on what is happening right now. I mean, to talk about this, because the kids and definitely can see the pictures and they do not understand what is going on, and they just listen to the adults. Now it is time to talk about the wars and why it happened, what causes the war, what is the deeper reasons for that. Is it just territory, or is it this willingness of one nation to live independently from other nation? Different perspective that I think is a very good context to think about this. How we can grow our kids without this anger to other nations, and then how to explain them that it is better to solve solutions like in the peaceful way, and then let's fight on the fields of football fields, and there is some other channels for your energy. Go for boxing, I don't know, hunting or so on, but not for people, not for kids, not bombing cities and villages. It's like now it looks, I think it's looked very weird in nowadays world just to see this.
In 2022, yeah.
In 2022 to see these solutions to some problems, let's say.
You said, it's very interesting for me to just briefly go back to this moment. You said that you heard the bombs, but somehow the mind doesn't want to believe it. And you know, and you stayed, and maybe this happened to many people, and it looks from outside, it looks like people didn't believe that Ukraine will be attacked. So what was going on in this moment, right? If you can just bring us back to this moment. There are bombs, you hear the explosions and everything, you feel the fear, but still the mind is telling you maybe it's just one time. I think that the human nature is about believing in good things, and you always have a hope. And another thing that you need to be very adventurous to make such decisions. Or either you have to have money and you understand that, okay, whenever I go, I can support myself and my kids. Or as many people in Ukraine that were, I mean, all the bank accounts, they were frozen and immediately you cannot get, I mean, you usually in our families now, you don't keep cash at home. You have cash on your cards and maybe on some bank accounts. So first, I think this is also
the courage. You need to be courageous to make such a decision. And again, and the second thing, you need to believe the universe. You know, even that if you do such a decision, you will meet. On your way, you will meet people who will help you. You will meet signs. You will know the right way to go, the right border, the right country.
Because it's like a journey.
And that's what happened to us. You know, we had plan number 1 to go to Moldova, and this was during the first day of our trip when the borders were closed and they introduced a law that they don't allow men to leave the country. So we had a plan number B to go to Western Ukraine. Then they introduced these changes that the men with a lot of kids are allowed. And again, we went to Moldova, so we are very open now, and we are also very scared. All our businesses, they are freezed, nothing is happening, and we're not sure that they will, even if the war stops with any results, and we will need, everything will need to be rethought and transformed. What we understand now, it will never be the same again. Just that we need to accept it, that we are starting from zero, and maybe not from zero, from minus.
But the key here, I think, it's openness for the world.
Yeah, openness for the world.
I think it was one of the key points for decision making that we kind of trust this world, that we will go, we'll find our place and the way and meet people. And glad that Ivan just stopped us in this rush. We just decided, okay, we'll stop for one night. Thank you, Ivan. But then we'll go and just have some time, just meet people and think about the future differently, without this rush mode.
And this interview is a huge reflection for us. Thank you. I think it is an excellent exercise to talk over and even to think and to find the place and time to do this, you know. And I want to support that. I think for all Ukrainians now, my message to Ukrainians would be to be very open to the world, just and the world will bring the chances, new opportunities, new ways for a new life. You know, if you are very closed and full of anger and hate, you will not notice that the life is still beautiful, that there's so much love around you. And
so what I feel is that it's really about inner and outer journey, and really trusting life. You had the unique chance to meet Dalai Lama. Are there any words that he shared with you, or at that time, that somehow are supporting you now, or they're in your heart? Because he is a man who definitely knows and can teach us a lot about peace.
You know, there were a couple of questions that we asked him during our audience that I think are very related to what is happening to us right now. One of the questions was about, at that time, it was 3-4 years ago, about the war between Ukraine and Russia. And the second question was about the leader, and in Ukraine, why don't we have a proper leader? And the third question was about the kids. How can we teach them to be connected to themselves, to their feelings, to their heart? How can we educate their heart when our teachers and the people of our generation is completely cut off of whom they are in reality? So I'll start from the beginning. When we were talking about the conflict, at that time that was a conflict between Russia and Ukraine, he said that the main problem is not outside, the main problem is inside the country. And if you can make people in Ukraine focus on the main values, on the values like love, kind-heartedness, compassion, that's the things that unite us. This will help the country to go through all this.
Love? Compassion
and kind-heartedness.
Kind-heartedness.
Yeah, these are three words that he repeated numerous times, and he calls this a secular ethic. You know, the Dalai Lama says that I would wish that there is no any religions in the world, but only secular ethic. And secular ethic is about how to be kind, how to be compassionate, how to understand that we are all connected.
How this will impact the countries.
He believes that when we as humans think about these secular ethics and these things, we open our hearts to each other. And again, this is about, in my opinion, this is all about raising our awareness, about our maturing and awakening. You know,
human beings.
Yeah, there are two big things that we need to work on. This is our awakening, understanding that is something more than just us. And the second part is growing up, which is which not aging, but maturing. So seeing the world from much larger perspectives, from different perspectives, from different lenses.
We see how it's difficult. You feel the anger. Someone can ask himself how practically can have compassion, for example, for Russia, or for everything that is make me angry. How do you?
I'll tell you what Dalai Lama did for this world, and together with American University, it's called Emory University, they created a special study program for kids from the age of 6. I mean, for the whole school, for the primary, middle, and high school, which is called social, emotional, ethical learnings. They created the whole program, the special course to prepare teachers to be able to teach this program to the kids, and the books, and this is amazing, you know. This is a tool, yeah, and because when you ask how we do this, we need tools. Someone starts doing yoga and find that through the body he feels this connection. Somebody starts meditation, and through the meditation he opens up. And with the kids, you know, every time, because my awakening started maximum 10 years ago, and this is another story, but every time when I found something in myself, when I became closer to my real inner child, I was asking myself, what do I need to do? How do I need to teach my kids now for them not to take another 30 years to come to this moment? And again, the books, and this is social, emotional, ethical learnings. This is one of many tools, but which is very practical and which is very scalable. Yeah, I mean, if you approach any school can sign up, any school in the world can sign up for the program and can introduce this as a lesson. So in our school we had this lesson for every child once a week, and you know, there is the focus, there is an energy, yeah, and if you focus and you talk to your kids about compassion, about how to be grateful, about their body, about their feelings, and about what is above their feelings, about their needs. And when you explain them that the feelings, the number of feelings that we all have as a humanity, it's only, you can put them on one page, they're not more, and the needs, they're universal. And when you teach kids these things, and this is a focus of the family or of the school or all together, I think then the changes are happening, not very quickly.
So one thing I see is that through schools and through teaching our kids, and of course teachers need to be like role models on that. But very practically now in this moment, how is it possible to have, let's say, a compassion? Because someone says, okay, I can compassion in a peaceful time, but how you can be compassionate in a war? Or when you see that someone is attacking you, how can you be compassionate to him? and at the same time have clear boundaries.
And still take action. Compassion.
And still take action, yes. Yeah. It's not just meditating, as you said.
I think when you think long term, you cannot be angry for long term, and you understand that one day the peace will come. I mean, I'm just received this on the Bulgarian border. The spring already came. Martin's spring already came. I mean, peace will, the war will end with peace always. And thinking about that, you do not. I think I personally do not mix everything all together. I understand that there are like different levels. Here is the war, but there'll be the peace. And there's, I think, the kindness and these kind of feelings, they are with you, and you can nurture them somehow. Nurture them and think about them. Why I'm so angry? And as we discussed this with Ivan, that there's. We are all peaceful people, we are all warriors, but we are all together. We need to find out how to balance between these two parts of us, and how to, as soon as we understand that we do something wrong, you can have these instruments to stop you, to think about, to be conscious what you do now, and how it affects other people and so on. So, it's about nurturing. It is not something that you can make order on, you know.
If on a deeper level we feel that life is not against us with whatever is happening, but life is for us and is supporting us, what do you think is, and what do you feel on a deeper level, what's the deeper message of life? How life is supporting us even through all these terrible events?
You know, I read a lot of political experts and political psychologists and the coaches on the whole situation, and how this situation helps Ukraine to move further and to move on a second level, or like higher level as a nation, as a country, because this is a kind of the moment when. What does he call this moment when you catharsis, or when you just the new nation is raised? I mean, despite this terrible war and deaths, I think there is a clarification, and this is the life, and we cannot just hide from that. We need to think about how to prevent the future wars and how to end this war with less damage and less people's death.
What is the biggest lesson?
And what's the biggest lesson from?
Because you said that there is a big lesson that we are all learning here.
As a humanity, I mean, as a humanity, one.
Maybe there are many lessons, but
it's squeeze it to one. You know, while Natasha thinks, and I think that the civilization and Russia and this kind of aggressive energy already lost. It's obvious. I mean, there is no further development of that. I mean, it should be stopped somewhere. And with Ukraine, with the rest of the world, it doesn't matter. But the new world still think how to win, and there is no winning point yet. So there is a huge gap between how this world will win and what will be lessons we all learned afterwards.
It's the 21st century now, and people are talking about technology and progress and businesses and robots and flying cars and things like this. We somehow are, as humanity, are very advanced in our minds, but somehow on one side we've taken peace for granted, and because nobody expected it. This is a little bit like shocking for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody from our generation has seen war. Our parents have seen it probably as little kids, but we haven't. And the other part of it's like the same question, but why in the 21st century there's still wars, like on a deeper level? Because there is something in the consciousness that it seems like it hasn't been processed. You know, we are very advanced in our minds, in engineering and technology and everything, but there is something deep down that's still happening, because there are wars everywhere in the world. It's not.
You know, I was even thinking that this war came straight after COVID. You know, the first lesson COVID. Then does it mean that we didn't learn it? Because you know, it's we learned how to live with COVID, but did we did we take, I mean, did we pass all these lessons that COVID brought to us, you know, as a humanity?
To feel more connected, maybe, to go deeper,
and
to take care about ourselves.
And to take care about ourselves, first of all, you know, because what happened, COVID just hit people's, what is it called, the weakest places in their bodies, because nobody wants to work with their minds to heal their bodies, right? And so did we learn these lessons from COVID? So COVID came and then the war, and again I'm sure this is...
I had an insight that COVID came for the body and the war came for the minds. Yeah. And now we can have to think about how to combine everything, how to be aware of your body and
how to integrate them.
How to integrate them.
The people that were so much suffering with COVID and so many people died, you know, it just showed, for example, to me that you cannot postpone what you're saying to get cleaner or to clean your soul. That's what I'm always thinking, you know, that we are not religious family, and even on our way of self-development, we still don't have this routine as we clean our teeth, clean our souls, and how can we create such a routine and how we can teach our kids. So again, this is about what is the action, now we understand that we need to clear our souls, and then we need to clear our anger, then we need time and place to forgive ourselves, to forgive others, but how to make it a real part of our life, not only during the retreats.
I really believe in Jesus, in Bulgaria is Orthodox country, I think Ukraine is Orthodox country, Russia is Orthodox country, and we all have Jesus-like example, and now we see two Orthodox country in war, and I say, wow, this is unbelievable. And what is the evolution? 2000 years ago we have this example, and now we have war. And
what about evolution?
What's the reason?
Yes, it looks
that
like
we didn't
no
learn the
evolution
lessons
of consciousness. It's just no evolution of consciousness happening. You know, it looks like really like backward move. Yeah. I mean, and the reasons. Okay, I think reasons in these two attitude to work, in supporting authoritarian like a model of the state. When somebody is responsible, paternalistic way of thinking, and then okay, we will do what others say, and independent and networks, as Ukraine shows now for the rest of the world, in army and territory defense forces in this society, and even from us, we work and helping with the food, with everything to the country. I mean, in networks are stronger. It proves that the evolution works, but again, there should be transition, and how to transfer this, like big countries with this hierarchical power into these networks of people, relationship, trust, and beliefs, and these kind of things. Not just so. This is important. I think it takes generation.
I want to add that for COVID, again, getting back to COVID. For me, the biggest lesson is that we most of the time, even I'm talking about myself, the family and the country, we hide the dirt under our carpets, and we think this is clean, and because the dirt is under the carpets, and I think maybe later, maybe when I have time, I'll do this general cleaning, and COVID showed us that general cleaning, you don't need to postpone, you need to clean, and you need to put much more efforts and time in your cleaning, in cleaning of your of mind, soul, and body. You know, again, this is very materialistic world we live in, and when I was thinking about COVID and what is what COVID is doing with people, and why they die, and what others who are around them, what lessons they can learn. You know, that for me was about that we don't need to postpone, we don't need to hide anymore. We need to acknowledge that this is the time for us to awaken more and to show this in action, not only in words, because you have the concept, but then you don't do this.
Now it's in the doing, maybe.
Yeah.
Now it's coming the time of doing.
You see,
what is the next action?
Yeah. What is the next obvious step?
What is the next obvious step?
And for the war, again, I think the lessons again I learned from different perspectives. Yeah, maybe from our family perspective is. It's, you know, from looking at this from the positive, with the positive outlook, I would say it's a new beginning, and this is a time for all our dreams to come true. And we mentioned that sometimes you need to be careful with the words, because everything you think, it comes true. So when you are open, and as we said, the life will bring you the opportunities. And we just need to believe in this. In terms of the country, the beautiful things that I see is this, as Sasha said, that something new life is emerging, and how the country is united. And I mentioned one of the questions to Dalai Lama was about the leader, the president, and we always complain about our president and find all the worst things that he's done or he's doing for the nation.
And what Dalai Lama said.
Yeah, and Dalai Lama said, the problem is not in the leader, the problem is in its followers. So when the followers of Ukraine will pray for the president and will thank him every day and will trust him and will believe in him, he will be the great. And now that's exactly what is happening. You know, when you see these posts of people that never supported him, from the business elite that was always complaining to the president. Now they don't allow others to do negative comments, and they say, yes, we have a lot of questions, but not now. In the time of the war, we need to get united and to support him in the best possible way. And I don't believe in it, really. That's so beautiful. Beautiful. People say, our president, you know.
So in terms of the evolution of consciousness, if we see this curve of the evolution, so what's the big lesson of COVID? What's the big lesson of the war? What's going on right now?
Black and white go together. How if you see beautiful moments, and which shows to you that you cannot close your heart, you cannot, you just see miracles are everywhere, on every turn there is a miracle. And
but maybe also if we embrace, as you say, and the good and the dirt, and from that place it's emerging.
It comes together.
Yeah. And what was the third question? Just I'm very curious. You said the third question was about the kids and how to feel more connected.
I think I bit explained that the kids, because how to teach kids. Yeah, of course you need to develop and to grow and to educate yourself, and so we need to educate teachers, and then we need to bring it to the kids, and it's all about, again, secular ethics. So the main things is to talk to kids about very simple things that we don't usually spend time on just talking to kids about this, about
great and maybe experiencing it some
doing exercises, and even body awareness. You know, the part of the subject is body awareness, when they just close their eyes and they do, maybe it's not a real meditation, but it's still, again, it's awareness, how you can feel your toes, for example. Yeah, and this is...
Thank you so much for all your time and for opening your heart and sharing your thoughts and wisdom with us. From our side, how do you see now your future, And the second thing is, what's the message that you'd like to share with people all around the world?
Let's start with the first one. We're open to see our future, and we're open for the opportunities. We are just looking for a place where we can stay for a longer time, but on the other hand, we think how to help Ukraine to build a new country afterwards, and how to create something for the country as well, and give it to people. And it's like there are some perspective, like short term, middle, and long term. I mean, long term, I think we will focus definitely on bringing awareness to this world, on sharing our experience and thinking about how to prevent such a situation, working with the educators from all over the world, with our partners from all over the world. I think this kind of our experience actually can help others to think differently and to rethink the normal, peaceful life, and to value this life, and to understand the precious moments in families and so on.
Now, during COVID, everybody was pro and anti-vaccines and pro-vaccines. Now, people again turn against each other, pro-war and against war. Yeah. So,
what would be your message? How do you feel it on a deeper level?
The world is united with everything, good and bad, evils and devils and angels, and so we need to integrate all parts of the life. Understand that it is a way how we grow, and what we can do is just to transfer our knowledge and experience to our kids and share with them. But yeah, I think the lesson is the world is united. It's not like in our mentality. I think we do not consider like Ukraine is something separate from all over the world. Now we understand that there is from the higher perspectives, that there is a fight between like a prosperous future and this old past, like a dark times. It's like it definitely were in the minds, and so and that is a lesson to learn and message we want to share.
Thank you.
Merci много.
I just add a bit and fully agree and support. I think the life it's interesting journey, and we are on a journey in a journey. And I believe that our world is a big school, and what we can do in this school is to learn our lessons. Yeah. And when we learn our lessons and become better, then the world becomes a better place, and our children, they can learn only from us. So we are the best teachers for our kids, and the kids are the best teachers for ourselves. So my message is to enjoy this journey and not to postpone not to postpone the lessons, and to clean the dirties out of our carpets, and all these days I'm thinking about the generosity of people in this world. So I would ask people to continue to become generous, and just know that all this good, it will come back. This is universal laws that we all know, and when you open and share, you know that one day it will definitely come back.
I think that children, they show us what's the future, because when I see my children playing with your children, sleeping together, I hope that this will be the future, and we all will respect life, and let's see what the children make. So this is.
And yeah, what I see is that the key question that I need to ask myself is really, what are the lessons I need to learn, how I can contribute from that place, and act upon it. So thank you really for your time.
Maybe for me the biggest lesson is to not to expect peace from outside, but build it from the inside first, and then take it from there. And thank you very much for this interview. So that allowed us all to reflect on this and really see not the war as black and white as enemies, but go to a little bit deeper conversation, because it seems to us that this is the kind of conversation that the whole humanity needs right now in the 21st century.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace and love.
Thank you.
Thank you.